Hello, everybody. Welcome to Unhinged Zoomer Ramblings, episode 1. So this is going to be a podcast that Alex, is starting. So first of all, who the fuck am I, and why the fuck am I making this podcast? So, I am Alex. I am 23 years old. I am a Filipino, yes, and I am currently living in New Zealand. I have been living here for the past 3 years, and I am a film graduate. So I studied film for 3 years, and that's basically my entire personality. I'm kidding. No, it's not. Um, but second question, why the fuck are you making a podcast? Because, like, who the fuck are you? Well, I'm making this podcast because I just want to talk shit. You know what I mean? Like, I feel like I have a lot to say about the world, and I feel like I don't have the audience for it. Or rather, maybe I do have the audience, and that audience is my friends. But then, like, I actually don't talk to my friends a lot, and like the friends that I do talk to, they're probably like sick of my shit. So here I am, just putting shit into the fucking universe, right? Or on the internet at least. Um, but yes. So I guess at first this podcast is for my friends or whoever else that gives a shit about me. Um, yeah. I guess the first few things that I will talk about in this first episode is that like an introduction to who I am, like a fucking first day of school introduction, like where you come up in front of the class, you stand there and you introduce yourself, or you like stand up in your spot in front of everybody else and do an awkward introduction. So I guess that'll be this first episode, get everybody like up to date on who I am as a person, because like why the fuck would you be listening to the rest of this podcast if you don't even know who's talking to you, right? So, my name is Alex, right? That's my name. But here's the interesting thing. Um I'm only known as Alex since I moved here to New Zealand, right? So for my entire life, well, not entire life, but like, so I'll say for the first 13, 14, 15 years of my life, I was known as Gabby, and that was spelt with a Gabee, because my parents wanted to be quirky or some shit. I don't know. They didn't want it to be some Gabby bullshit like that, because that's fucking common, and you know what, that's just how it is. But and then when I was 15 and onwards, people just started calling me Gab. Oh my god. So yeah, this is unhinged Zoomer ramblings, so this will literally be just like a stream of consciousness, at least for maybe the first few episodes, until I maybe get a solid structure in. But so, quick life story. Um Born in 98, right? Lived in the Philippines up until 2011, so maybe that's like, what is that, 13 years. I moved to Qatar. Yes, Qatar, where they're holding the fucking 2022 World Cup or whatever the fuck sporting event that is. Um, I lived there for 3 years up until 2014. Um, and then I moved back to the Philippines in 2014 and spent another 3 years there to finish my high school. And then in 2018, I moved here to New Zealand, which is where I currently am now. And yeah, that's a really quick summary life story of who the fuck I am. Um, so yeah, so basically, to get back to my point, is that like up until when I was living in Qatar, I was known as Gabby, right? That's what people called me. Then when I moved back to the Philippines in 2014, bitches just started calling me Gab, and that was cool because I was like introducing myself as, "Hey everybody, my name is Gabby," but then these fucking bitches were just like, "Hey Gab, what's up Gab, blah 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 blah," and so ever since then, it just became Gab, and I was like, why didn't people just start calling me Gab since I was a child anyway? Um, but so yeah, but the reason why I'm Alex right now in New Zealand is because that's also my name. Very cool, right? So, not to dox myself, but my first name is or are both Gabriel Alexander, right? So that's where the Gab or Gabby comes from, Gabriel. But that's where also the Alex comes from. Is from my Alexander. So I'm an Alexander, guys. I'm an Alejandro. That's fucking dope, isn't it? Um but so my little fucking gay ass just wanted to be like, "Yo, I'm moving to a new country. I can have a completely different life." So then I decided to introduce myself as Alex to the people of New Zealand. And so that's how everybody in New Zealand knows me as, is just Alex. So nobody in New Zealand calls me Gab, right? And nobody in the Philippines calls me Alex. Especially within like my friend group, like my high school friends. None of those motherfuckers would call me Alex because like there's another Alex and like or I don't know, there's just a bunch of other Alexes and Alex is such a common name globally, but like yeah. So hi everybody, you can call me Alex if you want, if that's what you prefer, or you could call me Gab. Honestly, either or, it doesn't really matter. But that's why I'm also like a galaxy on all my social media. So fucking gay, right? Whatever. Because it's like my initials. My last name starts with a C. Yeah, now I'm not gonna dox myself, even though people will probably figure out what the fuck my fucking full name is, and then I'm gonna fucking die tomorrow. See? That's where this is going. Anyway, so um, I don't know what else to say. Honestly, in this first episode of the podcast, Unhinged Zoomer Ramblings. So I guess like the point of this first episode is to be like, if I do have an audience of at least one person, right, that would actually listen to this whole thing, no matter how long this ends up being. Currently, we're at 7 or 8 minutes. I don't know how much shorter or longer this is gonna be, depending on my edit. But I would like to interact, with people. I would want people to ask me questions about anything or everything, about my life, about my thoughts on things. Um, I guess more specifically, because my specialty is film and television. I love film and television, right? I could, if I'm into something, I can talk about it on and on. So, for example, for the people who don't know me, and I guess to reiterate to the people who do know me, I love Marvel, right? Specifically the MCU. I haven't read the comics, I haven't read a single Marvel comic because I'm just not that kind of gay, you know what I mean? But I do love the MCU. So, specifically with the MCU, I've pretty much seen almost all of it, including the television shows. Yes, including Agents of Shield. Still probably like my favorite series or thing to come out of Marvel ever. But also like all of the Netflix shows except maybe Daredevil season 3. Yeah, I mean, yeah, but we'll get to that maybe. Um, but so I actually am a diehard MCU stan. So like, if you have some nerdy questions about the MCU or I don't know, questions you want to ask me about what I think of certain things in the MCU, please feel free because I would gladly talk about that in depth. Um, what else do I like? Um, oh, I guess in terms of just like my personal life, I am currently a sandblaster. So I don't know if you know what that is, But I don't know, if you have the time, just look up sandblasting on YouTube. Uh like I clean metal, right? That's basically the thing. I make metal things look good. And I don't know if it's just metal, probably, but yeah. That's pretty cool. It's pretty satisfying. Um so that's my job currently. Um yeah, it pays the bills. But eventually I do want to do something in film, obviously. I might do some little film projects here and there. Um if I have the money and the time for that. Hmm, what else? Oh, earlier this year I actually started streaming on Twitch, and I have a couple of YouTube videos, edited videos that I put up on my YouTube channel. I still don't know where the fuck this is going, and it's going to be on either of my YouTube channels. I have two. But yeah. So, I've been doing that. Well, I haven't been doing that for the past 2 months, but I'd like to say a couple cool videos on like Siege and Apex and just like a general highlight reel or something of my time on Twitch. Um because I am a gamer. Oh, I guess that's also something I'm passionate about. Not to the extreme sense of like, oh, I play video games like for most of my free time. I mean, I guess I used to, but not nowadays. Because like I've just been vibing, you know, I'm like relaxing. I'm 23 years old. I can't spend like 6 hours on Dota the same way I used to like 6 years ago in high school, right? As much as I would like to, that's just not the case, unfortunately. Um what else can I say? Oh, I love Lady Gaga. Yep. Oh my gosh. If you guys want me to get into that, I have some fucking well, I have one funny story related to Gaga. Um Related to Gaga and religion. If you would like me to talk about that, let me know. Because that's a very fun and interesting, hilarious story uh, about my time in Qatar. So think about that, right? If you don't know what I'm talking about, if you're one of the many people that I haven't told the story about, imagine these keywords, right? And then try to imagine a story that can come out of this, right? Closeted 12-year-old gay kid. I guess that's not really a word, but that's a phrase, right? That's a key phrase. Closeted 12-year-old gay kid. Qatar. Lady Gaga. Lady Gaga Born This Way Ball Tour in the Philippines. I guess that's enough context to give like a vague picture or foreshadowing of like where the story could go. I haven't told this story much to a lot of people, so like if you would like to hear what that story actually is, let me know. But there's that. Um yeah, so yes, I am a Zoomer. Born in 98. Let's go. I'm like one of the last Zoomers um to exist. For those very few who don't know what a Zoomer is, Generation Z. So the one that's after the millennials and the one that's before Generation Alpha, as far as I know. Um, and you know what? I'd like to think we're the coolest fucking generation, but that's just because I am part of the Zoomer generation, and we Zoomers think we fucking own the world when we probably don't. You know, each generation probably thinks that way of themselves. You know what I'm saying? Um, but yeah. So, unhinged Zoomer ramblings. You know, that's just a name I came up with because I'm like, I'm probably just gonna be talking shit for like however fucking many minutes that I do this for, right? It's literally just gonna be about anything and everything. Another guy with a podcast. But see, here's the interesting thing about me. here's my keywords for the search engine optimization for the SEO. You know what I mean? Podcast, Filipino, gay, Zoomer, New Zealand, alien, because I'm an alien, hopefully soon to be a resident. You know what I mean? Um, but yeah, so like, I'd like to think I have some pretty unique things about me for me to be able to start a fucking podcast. Because like, there are literally 10 billion other podcasts in the world, and people are gonna be like, why the fuck do I want to listen to you? Well, I don't know. It's because like maybe you are my friend and you wanna hear what the fuck I have to say about things, even though it's just gonna be literally a bunch of bullshit. Or you're someone who's just looking for something new and quirky and fun and weird, you know, something for the Zoomers, because that is my target audience. And like, hello, boomers, Generation Xers, alphas, millennials who somehow stumble upon this podcast. Hello to you too. So this is gonna be a podcast from the viewpoint of a Zoomer, right? A gay 23-year-old Filipino Zoomer who lives in New Zealand. See, isn't that a unique thing? And like, I'd like to think I'm very opinionated about things, even though I don't know a lot about things in depth. You know, maybe I can do a little research here and there, a la Mike's Mike. Shout out to Mike's Mike. Honestly, you're one of the, if not the podcast that just inspired me to do this straight up. Because like all the podcasts I've been listening to have been like duos. So for example, here are the podcasts that I have listened to over the past year that made me just realize maybe I can fucking do this too. First of all, Showmans by Kevin McHale and Jenna Ushkowitz, because like I'm a gleek. Oh, there we go. Not that I'm a gleek, but like I've definitely literally seen the entirety of Glee, and it's just so fucking fun. Like that show literally absolutely shaped me into who I am now. Oh my god, Glee, don't even get me started. So there's that, Jenna and Kevin, Showmans. Oh, there we go. I love Drag Race, so I've listened to Sibling Rivalry and the Trixie and Katya podcast. So those are other two. And then recently, Tiny Meat Gang with Cody Ko and Noel Miller. Love them. And also, This Might Get Weird by Grace Helbig and Mamrie Hart. I don't know if any other Zoomers know these people, or even the millennials, but Grace Helbig, Mamrie Hart, and I guess also Hannah Hart are like one of the few, I guess, OG YouTubers. Not really OG, but like the people that came after the OG YouTubers, like Ryan Higa. I guess I'd consider Ryan Higa, you know, though he is he is an OG YouTuber. But so Grace and Mamrie, like around 2011, 2012 era. You know what I mean? But so they have this podcast called This Might Get Weird, and like I love that podcast because like they're just these two women that just talk shit about like what the fuck happened in their daily lives, you know what I mean? And I'm like, I may not have things to talk about on a week to week basis, like in terms of my real life, because I'm an introvert. I guess I'm more of an ambivert now, whatever, but like I don't go out much, right? And I don't have much experience like interacting with people because like I'm just, you know, whatever. I mean, I'm trying to. I'm not as shy as I used to be. But that's what I mean. So anyway, all those podcasts that I mentioned. But then Mike's Mike is the very first one, or jumping in an elevator, I should say, by Mike, is the first podcast I listened to wherein it's just him fucking talking to a camera. Like for the past few days I've been listening to that. And I was just like, wow, if he can do it, I can do it too. So anyway, I guess this will be a much shorter first episode because like I mean I have no idea what the fuck I'm doing, right? I'm just posting this for the people who are interested in me. If there's no one, great. I don't give a shit. But if there's like one or two people that give a shit, shout out to you. If you're my friend and if I know you, great. But if you're also someone that I don't really know that well, but if you listen to this whole thing, shout out to you, man. Leave a fucking comment on wherever I post this on, like Instagram or YouTube, Spotify. I don't know where the fuck this will go, man. But yeah, I appreciate it if you've actually listened to this whole thing. Because this is literally just unhinged Zoomer ramblings. But yeah, I don't know when the next episode will be. I don't know. Maybe I'll try to get one like by next week. But if people are actually listening to this, leave a comment or DM me, right, at galexc and then 2 underscores. That is at GALEXC and then 2 underscores on Instagram. Just DM me, right? If you have like a question or anything you want me to talk about on the podcast, if you want to hear my thoughts on something, let me know. I would love to just talk about whatever the fuck you want me to talk about. But yeah, so this is the first episode, I guess. I mean, I don't know what else to talk about. I feel like this has been unhinged enough because this has been all over the place, and I'm sure I'll get better at this. And I might have some guests, aka my friends, in the future. I don't know when that'll be. I'll probably want to be doing this by myself for the first few episodes, and then if I find my groove, if I actually continue to do this, and not just do this one episode, right? Then I definitely would want to have my friends on. But yeah, that will be it. So keywords: film graduate. I'm a nerd about film and TV. Maybe not as much as other people. 23 years old. I'm a Filipino. I live in New Zealand. Yep, I'm gay. What about it? I grew up in the Philippines. I lived in Qatar for 3 years. I don't know what else to say. I love Marvel. I love Gaga. I love pop culture. So if those are things that interest you, or if you want to know more things about, yeah, let me know. DM me, leave a comment, whatever the fuck. Thank you for listening to Unhinged Zoomer Ramblings. I'll see you next time. Goodbye.